Hey everybody, Kevin Debs here with my lovely real estate partners, Tracy Gagne, Hank, and Gina Bertodatto. She'll be off screen most of the time, but she's here in spirit, and Kelly Duncan-Smith and Pat Smith. And we just really, here we are into our second week of containment, shall I say. We're all finding out new things about each other. It is very much a partnership in development, but because we work so closely, and we've been on the same team for well over a year, couple years now. We're close with one another. And one of the things that we pride ourselves on is communication. We know it's the key to being great partners. We know it's the key to our business. We know it's the key to maintaining confidence and balance when times are uncertain. And that's what leadership does. And so we just said, let's just get together. Let's share with our fellow agents. Let's share with agents we don't know but are in the community, looking for more answers or solutions to the questions that have arisen during this two weeks of and prolonged uncertainty. But there are positives to think about, and we will all get through this. So what I'd like to do is go straight to Hank of Hank and Gina Bertodatto Real Estate and let Hank talk a little bit about some of the things that he's discovered during the weeks that we've all had more time to figure out, work on projects, work on parts of our business, reach out to people, and just what he's done with his relationship. So Hank, if you would share with our esteemed fans, we would appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm glad we could all get together, find some time to do this. I don't know about everyone else, but my three boys are driving me crazy at being at home. But, it's good. We get to bond as a family. But let's talk about business for a moment. So last Monday was day one of quarantine. So whenever you're watching this, doesn't matter. Just think day one of quarantine when the country was asked to stay home, not spread, flatten the curve, whatever. That Monday morning, if you would have asked me, hey, should I buy now or should I sell now? I would have told you no. I would have absolutely told you no. And the reason is we had 13 listings. We had nothing pending, no buyers, nothing. The media has got us all scared, panicked. People are running to the grocery store, we're running out of toilet paper, this and that. By that afternoon, Gina and I, we got two of our listings under contract, wrote two offers, and on Tuesday, the next day, got both offers accepted for our buyers. So now we went from Monday morning nothing with mass hysteria going on in the world to 4 pending contracts in 24 hours, which was crazy. And then the next day we had 2 listing appointments. Both of them went great. Both of them we got listed. And they asked me the same question. Should I wait to list? Should I list now? And I'm like, list now. People are at home. People are looking on their computer still at real estate. Let's list now. We do a Matterport, which is the virtual walkthrough. So our buyers, wherever they are in the world, in their home, can look at your home, virtually walk through, and can almost feel and touch your home, see every nook and cranny. So, and then this week, same thing. We had 2 listing appointments, got them both. One was in person. One didn't want us to come out to the house, which was understandable. They were older, so we didn't do the FaceTime thing, but we talked on the phone, and we just said, hey, look, what have you done to your home since you bought it? Is there a certain net you're looking to net out? Where are you going to? So on and so forth. At the end, they felt comfortable with us. I was able to email our marketing presentation to them, email the seller net sheet to them, show them the comps, and they said, hey, this makes sense. Let's do it. So that goes live next week. So when I'm, at the end of all this, from day one of quarantine to 48 hours later to now, we're almost 2 weeks in, roughly 10, 12 days in to this, we're thriving. Okay, we are moving forward. People are still transacting real estate. So, and I know some of, Kelly and Tracy are going to talk about, not freaking out and touching your relationships and building relationships through this time and how we value this. So do not freak out. We are going to get this together. Okay, but this is a time to not just pump the brakes. I know you're scared. You don't know how you're going to pay the mortgage, pay bills. There's stuff out there right now. Credit companies, mortgage companies, car mortgages, they're allowing you to extend right now or defer interest or whatever they're doing. And so tap into those. And I'm sure we'll talk about that a little bit later. So
No, that's great. And I think what might make sense, Tracy, if you don't mind, we'll go to Kelly, because what Hank touched on about the viewing of the home, having that touch, taste, and feel of the home and tangible efforts. Tracy's worked on an organic, or excuse me, Kelly has worked on an organic method for years that has been somewhat successful. And so, Kel, if you wouldn't mind sharing what you've done during periods like this, and where you feel you're coming from a place of strength as we go into this period, about how to view the home and how to help interested, not only buyers and sellers, really be able to still partake in the real estate experience. So if you could, that would be great.
Absolutely. Thanks, Kev. So, I guess one of those old sayings is why is this happening to me? And, when we're terrified of like, what's going on? Well, years ago, I was hit by a drunk driver, and I had a broken hip that went undetected for years. And finally, my chiropractor realized it was a broken hip. I was pregnant when I was hit, so they didn't do x-rays. Long story short, we're going into spring market 8 years ago. I'm top of my game. How am I going to do this? My hip replacement operation is April 9th. Like, seriously, the height of spring market. So I grabbed one of my agents and I said, this is what we're doing. You're going to go with an iPad or your cell phone, and you're going to go through the house with the people, and I'm going to have the conversation. And that's what we did 8 years ago. So fast forward, 3 years ago, I moved to Florida. And so I would send Maureen, my admin, who was also licensed, or Brennan. But then there was a few times where nobody was available. And I said to the owner, hey, give me a call. Let's FaceTime. Talk to me about your improvements. Talk to me about this and that. So everybody's like recreating the wheel right now, so to say. I've been doing this off and on for 8 years. It works fabulously because you don't need to physically see their home. You need to understand the market. You need to understand their square footage. You need to understand their improvements. But mostly, they need to know that you're somebody that they can trust, that you're somebody that you're going to be there for them. And it doesn't matter if I'm 1,500 miles away. It doesn't change how my selling process is. I'm still going to do all the same things. Think about it. After you leave a listing appointment, guys, when do you actually physically see the people again?
that's a great point.
When you have a get together, a party, and they show up 2 years later. So everything that we do is kind of behind the scenes, with the exception of the only thing that we were doing was the listing appointment. I've been doing it for 8 years right here with a cell phone or an iPad. So the whole world thing is like in this panic mode right now. And with being with eXp, it has been tremendous, because not only do I have my old listing of going through the phone, but I also have the trainings in the back. I don't have to worry about driving to an office. I don't have any of those things. I just literally, I want to learn something. I pop on in 45 minutes without any transfer, any driving, any worrying about communicating. And it's just it's a different world. And it's been a fabulous experience for me over the last 8 years. And lots of times what comes out of adversity is gifts. And now I'm already adjusted to this market that everybody's starting to freak out. So, and more eXp people, I would say, are more adjusted to this market than anybody in the world.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Anywhere, anytime type business models, this is what we're built for and geared for. So, you bring up a great point, but it's also the mindset, right? You've been working on this in this fashion for 8 years. So if we remember, that's during sort of good times in real estate. So it allows you to transition and create that mindset to say, hey, you know what? I've got this. I can give you some confidence. I've done this before. This is the discipline I've set up, and it has a track record, and we will get this and get the result that we want, whether you be a buyer or a seller. So that's very comforting and confident. Tracy Gagne. Sometimes I refer to her affectionately as the talent. So Trace, if you could, I knew that. You didn't know that, did you? I had to throw that in there. But no, we mean that thoughtfully. But Tracy, as we're talking about mindset and we're talking about patterns of what we're doing, we know that everybody's in the same boat right now. They're doing everything they can to distance themselves from people, try to figure out what the timelines are. And just if you could share a little bit, obviously you've had a tremendous amount of success in real estate and we enjoy the partnership, but some of the things that you've communicated to particular clients or other people in the industry as you're going through this period would be great to share.
What we're doing right now is, really just checking in with our past clients in our sphere and even people that we've been actively working with, just to kind of get a gauge of how they feel right now. Like we've all experienced, people are working on in fear right now and anxiety and the unknown. And the unknown, I think, is probably more scary than what we're actually traversing right now. Nobody knows what's going to happen in a day or 2 days, a week from now, let alone, within the next hour. So that's scary for a lot of people. And I think just being that having that ability to have that conversation and hear what their fears are and just try to bring them back into a place of calm and be the voice of reason and let them voice their fears so that way you can bring them back. And with the understanding that, that's natural. This is a natural thing we are all experiencing. And, with the teams that we've developed across the country, we're really working hard on getting, resources to people who may need it. So I've reached out, we've got people all across the country. I mean, we've sold houses in almost every state at this point, and we have teams in almost every state at this point. So we're reaching out to everybody across the country and just asking what they need, if they know anybody that needs anything, so that we can be that resource for them and just help. If it's picking up groceries for grandma and making sure that she, is able to stay out of that crazy grocery store. If it is, going to pick up prescriptions, or what we're doing this week is we're actually going to be bringing Dunkin' Donuts to the first responders at the hospitals that are overwhelmed to give them something too. So, it's just trying to do things that make you feel like your day is filled with purpose right now is really important, and making sure that, people know that you genuinely care about them, because there's some people out there that don't get to experience that often.
It's a great point. The humanity in all of us is what connects us, right?
Can I piggyback on that, Kevin?
You can piggyback. Yes, you can.
Hang on, Tracy. No, just to kind of elaborate on the bringing of value to, just the community and not just your past clients and customers. But Gina and I had found a rustic picture of some giraffes in a store. And we remembered about a year and a half ago, we sold a home to a young couple, and they fell in love with the giraffes that were in that house. And it was funny because the buyer even said, "Look, I'm buying this house because of the giraffes," and it was just some, decorations. So we saw this in the store, we bought it. And I think on Monday, I dropped it off at their house outside and just said, "Hey, look, I hope you guys are staying safe and healthy. I know you're quarantined in here. Here's something to maybe take your mind off it for a couple minutes." And I just texted them and said, "Hey, there's something at the door for you." And they texted us later and I said, "Oh my gosh, it was so sweet. It was so thoughtful. We just been so freaked out. This was exactly what we needed." And they thought it was great. So it's just, it's just that little thing, to just kind of get everyone's mind off of this and just say, "Hey, we're here for you."
Hank, you and I are so much alike, because I just sent a poster to my assistant who lives in Washington, to her son, who was supposed to have brain surgery on April 29th, but it's been postponed now because Washington smack dab and, in chaotic situation. So he can't have his brain surgery, but he loves trucks. He absolutely loves trucks. So I sent him, I just went, it was really easy. It was not expensive, but I just sent him a poster of an old-fashioned tow truck. Big poster, old-fashioned tow truck, something totally different. She was like, "You made his entire week. It's already up." It's those little things. They don't have to be expensive, but just coming. She didn't know it was coming. He didn't know it was coming, but it just lit him up. And, and in Washington State right now, there's a lot of uncertainty. So that little something she was just so grateful for. And
Yeah.
it really was very little effort on my end.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We're very much alike in that.
We are. That's probably why we get along.
It's one of the reasons why you guys get along.
One of the many.
That's nice to hear, and that's very thoughtful, and that's the humanity that ties all of us together, is that If we're able to think of others during this time without thinking about what's coming in return, that's kind of, we share the same mindset. We want to be able to help. And where we feel fortunate, the four of us, and when I say this, it's without agenda or intention, the way we came together, we've got three people, one in Massachusetts, one that splits time between Florida and Massachusetts. Hank and I are down here in Southwest Florida. We're in different parts, but we're connected. We're connected virtually, obviously, on this call, but all the time in our business and every day, and anyone when we do business, we're connected. We have a place that we can go to that is our own culture, and it feels like it's seamless. And I say that thoughtfully during this time, but it feels seamless during this time because when we need to get a hold of accounting, we have 11 hours of service in accounting because they're working from the comforts of their home. When we need to talk about onboarding, we have that, and it's been no hiccups, and it's really been nice because people are working from the comforts of their home. When Glenn Sanford, who founded eXp, founded it in 08, 09, he wanted to do business without fixed costs and without borders. Here we are 12 years later, and we have agents who've come back to us that are on our team, part of our partnership, that have said, it is so comforting to know that I can continue my education in real estate, further my craft and education without a hiccup, because I can get to my classes and the person who teaches the classes is doing it from the safety with his health in the comfort of his own home. So that's very powerful to be able to share with not only agents that we currently work with, but agents that are out there, agents that look at how to value themselves, how to put one foot in front of the other, and have that confidence in this time frame where some of it's unknown. I can throw a dart at a board and tell you a year from now, we are all going to be in a better place. And I feel confident about that. And Kelly touches on that and a lot of things that we interact on. And it's different now. It'll never be the same, but we're going to come out of this with a strong and positive reaction in some places. And the nice thing is, business as we know it is going to change forever. How we interact with each other, how we do things. So we've been in this pattern for a couple years now. We're used to doing this, where Zoom is our office, where we meet as avatars in and look at the computer made lake and say, oh, isn't that nice? We have a campus here. And it's just comforting to know that that has the ability to expand and bring others in that we can help. And we say that without intention or agenda. It's just that we know that that platform has helped 27,000 agents find their voice, find their culture, realize that they can rely on themselves and empower themselves, so that when times like this, which are unforeseen and nobody's fault, come up, they feel like they're dealing from a position of strength. They can put one foot in front of the other and feel like their business has some consistency to it. And above all, we all communicate daily. And I think that's so powerful. And no matter what you take away from this, if you communicate with your clients, you communicate with your agents, you communicate with your family and friends during this whole process, you're going to come out stronger, tighter, and more thoughtful. Strider's a new word, by the way. I'm going to enter that into the dictionary. I don't know what that means. It's a combination of those three words.
We have a
I'll
couple.
turn it back over to my esteemed friends and partners here to see if they have any finishing thoughts or things they would like to add. I just wanted to kick that off into that phase. Kelly Duncan-Smith from Palm Beach, would you like to speak?
I would. I when this hit 2 weeks ago, I had a sense of panic that sent in, and I don't panic. I don't get negative. I don't go to the dark side, and I did, and it was a really scary evening for me. I started thinking about looting and all of this crazy things that could happen. And I thought, everything's different. Nothing is ever going to be the same. And I got caught up in it for a moment. And I only allowed it for a moment. We can't help our first initial thoughts, but we can help our reactions from there. And so I woke up the next morning and I wrote this, and it's real quick, and I'd just like to share it. Everything is different. Nothing will ever be the same. We are going to grow into optimum versions of ourselves. We are going to become more resourceful, productive, and purposeful. Our time management systems are going to grow and change. We are going to learn we are stronger and more adaptable than we ever thought. We are going to learn new ways to communicate and grow together apart. Inventions are going to be created, books are going to be written, and art is going to flourish. We are going to learn new ways to show each other love and compassion. Everything is different. Nothing will ever be the same. It will be better.
Love that.
That's tremendous.
Oh,
Love so much.
guys,
Well said, Kel.
it will be better. This is hard for everybody right now, and you know, these are scary times. But we're going to come out on the other end of this as people that we never could have done. We could not have become. If you don't have uncertainty and adversity, sometimes you just don't have growth. So God bless. That's all I wanted to say.
That's tremendous. I don't know who wants to go next because
I'm not
that was
following
the
that.
showstopper.
I don't want to follow that either.
Yeah. The Academy Award
Terrible.
goes to Kelly Duncan-Smith. Does anybody have like a supporting role, Kath? I say that thoughtfully, Kel, because that is from the heart. And we've known you for a couple years, like Hank and I. You and Tracy have worked together for years, and you have such a presence. And we've come to know that from you. So we know that comes from the heart. And the fact that that was your immediate reaction is, how can I reach people so they know that I think like them, they think like me, but we're all compassionate and we all care. And I can just tell you guys from my days in investment banking, to be there for 9/11, to be there for the financial crisis, and to be here now. It's not that I say, well, I have the playbook for this, I'll just adapt it to the coronavirus, but
No.
you did see humanity come out in strength. You did see the outpouring of people saying, hey, let's put aside our differences and let's just share a common goal here, because we really do at the end of the day. We appreciate what we have. It's sort of a gratitude check. And we say to ourselves, well, what am I starting the day off with? 10 fingers, 10 toes, hopefully. Breath of fresh air. I can go out for a walk. I can simplify this to get at the base level, which is what I should appreciate each and every day. And I think that's something that we had to remind ourselves, not that we need an event like this to do that, but it is refreshing to know that we can remind ourselves to start from that position. So I'm thankful for all of you and certainly your families. And we are like family, and that's what we just want to help. I know that without even having to ask each one of you, that is the intention of all of this, is to be able to help and assist our fellow human beings. So I would say for the bottom, the anchor panelists here, for Hank and Tracy, if you have something you'd like to add, please do. If not, we can say that we will be back. We communicate more, not less during these times. That's what we're comfortable with. So we would love to come back to you guys next week with a fresh batch of certain things to talk about, and certainly to say, where do we stand next week, and go from there. So I will thank.
Hold on. I gotta throw this in there. So, you just don't know who this virus is affecting. So this morning at 8 a.m., Gina's aunt, so my aunt-in-law, passed away from the coronavirus in New York. So, it's been a really tough day for my mother-in-law and for Gina. It just hasn't been easy. So I know that there's people out there that aren't taking this serious. I'm just here to tell you that, you're going to know, if you're not affected, you're going to know someone that is affected by this. And just, again, come from value at the end of the day, and like Kelly said, we're all going to get through this. We're all going to come out of this. And, it's just keep moving forward.
Hank, I'm very sorry. Please give Gina and her family our best thoughts and wishes and prayers. And we're going to all be affected in that way. We're going to know people, and it's the strength of all of us that are going to help get through it. So yes, to Hank's point, take this seriously, distance yourselves, and take that time now to do it and get used to it, because there will come a day where everything will be back to that level. But for now, let's do it as thinking of one another. And how can I help my fellow human being? It's to distance myself for now. So with that, I would say Have a
Sorry
good
to end
evening.
it on a such a somber note. Not my
Important.
intention.
No, it's important.
Any prayers for your
was-
family, Hank?
Absolutely
you.
perfect, Hank. And my heart is with your family,
Yeah.
as are my prayers.
Thank you.
And
just
all
so
of you.
know, we didn't know that. He just hit us with that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't want it to go untold, you
So
know, it's just
sorry.
something like we're gonna know people, you know, so it's
Yeah,
just,
we all are.
yeah,
I've got a few friends that are sick right now, and it's scary.
yeah, it's tough.
Well, it goes without saying that if any of you out there that feel this has been something that you needed, please reach out to us. We're here to talk. We're here to help. As you know, Hank relies on us. We're a very tight-knit group. And I think that's what jogged his thought process to say, I need to mention this. I need to get that out there and get it out to the public because we're all experiencing this. So we say that in reciprocity to everybody watching. If we can help in any way, if there's anything you want to talk about, we're here to help and get through it together. So with that,
God bless.
God
Amen.
bless. Stay safe,
Be
stay
safe.
healthy,
Stay healthy.
and
Lots of
please
good.
keep to yourselves.
stay home.
And thoughtfully.
Stay home. Yes.
Yeah, stay
home.
safe, stay healthy, stay home. All right.
Guys,
Thanks,
let's
Love
end
you
the
guys.
best.
All
Oh,
right.
I'm not supposed to do
Bye.
that. I just touched my mouth. I got to go wash my hands. All right.